Hello.
Lisa? Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
It was tough to get in. From the first email you sent, I couldn't get in. The one that you sent to our people from the public advocate's office, I could get in.
Huh. I wonder why. I just
don't know.
forwarded that.
Yeah.
Oh, Cheryl, I have something for you. Let me send that now.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Randy.
Be with you for a while.
Cool. And you still have your 3rd Avenue L sign.
Yeah, I tell you, show you another one I have. I have this one,
Oh my gosh.
and I have this one.
Oh my. No Long Island Railroad?
No, no, since you have subway people, we use this one.
That's true. Very cool.
It's meeting appropriate.
Yes, indeed. Hi, Bert.
One of my friends just emailed me something about the signal, the Culver line.
Yes, it's on again.
A precedent was set last weekend. There was no substitute bus service.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
Wow.
I could imagine someone with a walker who needed to get to Avenue P, take a B35 to Coney Island, and a B66 to Avenue M, and a B9 to Avenue N, then walk 2 blocks to Avenue P. That's if they know the bus system.
I just got the notice about the GO for 9 weeks or something. Yeah.
He said many 82-year-olds don't know how to call Uber. Not a good precedent, in my humble opinion. There are plenty of bus drivers on the extra board.
Okay.
So that's like in your wheelhouse there to take care of that or complain about.
I saw you, Shaul.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
All right. How's it going?
I'm good. And concerning Clover Line, I think it's a complete 180 because they actually had branded shuttle buses planned, like they showed on the website. And they actually had geo posters and stuff ready, and they're even they're talking.
If you want Coney Island, use the NQ or D, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's nothing. It's just crazy.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
I don't know how they can do all of those weekends and not provide a shuttle bus from Church Avenue to Coney Island. I don't get it.
Andrew, this is Chris. You know, since I live near the F line as well, the only thing I've seen the heavy ridership is the 68 bus, which is the Coney Island Avenue bus, which is 10 blocks from the next bus line. The only thing I agreed with Randy, because I heard it, is the Avenue P stop, there is no bus unless you have to walk 2 blocks to Kings Highway or 2 blocks to Avenue N. But again, there is no, that's where there's a very big gap. But after 1 a.m., there is no B9 bus. So then you're really deserted.
So
I'm going to be
that,
inquiring about this.
I see that Kate Contino has joined us, and not to put her on the spot, but maybe when we formally start the meeting, Kate can give us some information.
Marisol, you like my sign? Bronx person, huh?
Yep,
You like
I was
it?
on the last day of that run.
So was I. And this is a 1947 Hackstrom map. They used to have them in all the subway stations in New York. And if you come up over here, there's an arrow that says you are here. And they had those in those.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Thank you for sharing.
I'm at-
I'm on mute all this time. Thank you.
Hi, Soul.
Let's see what we have. I see
How many do we have?
Andrew.
Hi, Lisa. Jason's going to be joining us late today because he's at Amazon right now. What?
Okay,
Speaking of the devil,
hold on, I'm
Jason.
going-
can you hear us?
Hold on. Going through a roll call here. Andrew.
Yep.
Shaul.
There he is. Hi, Jason.
Hold on, Andrew. We're gonna do this in an orderly fashion.
Right. Put myself on mute.
Bert, Marisol, Bradley, Ellen, Sharon, Sheila, Jason.
Hello.
Christopher. Chris, is
Hello,
your mom
Vanessa.
here as well?
No, it's me now. She
Okay,
might be on later. I'll let you know.
okay. I'm sure she will as well. I see Gwen, Edith, Stuart, Kate, Matt, Shotgun. And then we have a call-in user 1. Who is Colin? Is that you, Trudy?
I'm on call-in as a,
And that's Stuart?
Stuart.
right, I'm on both systems, yeah.
Okay, great.
Sounds like we have a quorum.
We do. I just saw Mike here as well. Okay, Mr. Chair, the meeting is yours.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us. Now that we do have a quorum, may we have an approval of the minutes that you received by email? Or
Yeah.
changes or corrections to them, either way.
Yeah, Andrew, there is a correction. Bradley was in the meeting last month. They're listed him as absent.
Well, since Bradley actually wrote the minutes,
I know, and I'm looking like, how can he write absent if he was there?
I was
I think he
out
knows
one
if he was
meeting,
there.
Chris, because I was sick, so it might have been that meeting.
I knew Bradley would know if he was there or not.
Yeah,
see-
I remember
Okay.
saying, because I said to him, I missed him. That's what I remember last month.
Okay, any corrections or additions, or can we have an approval of the minutes as submitted? Hearing nothing.
I'll make a motion with the corrections.
Chris, we'll check on that and if it, as warranted, yes.
Sharon, you're muted.
All right, I so move or second.
Thank you, Sharon. How about today's agenda? May we have an approval of that?
I
Make a
so
motion
move.
to approve.
Great.
Second.
Okay. Then let me go into the chair's report. Sorry to have to report that since we've last met, losses among employees have grown. I believe we're up to now 138, which is unspeakable horror. The majority of those are, of course, transit employees. There are a few Metro North and Long Island, but the vast majority of those are subway and bus employees. So we certainly mourn the loss of those. Service is starting to uptick as some people appear to be returning. I see Trudy is having trouble joining apparently. I just got a message, so if somebody could reach out to her and see why she is having an issue, that would be great.
All right, Scott is here.
Hi, Scott,
That is
how are you?
here. Great.
As far as dollar losses, the MTA continues to hemorrhage money. No surprise there. As we have, I think Interim President Feinberg reported that where we were carrying 9% of the normal passenger load, we're now up to 11%, still way down. The last I had heard was over $591 million losses from fares alone. I'm sure that is up now. We have received some money from the CARES Act. 1.3 billion, I think, has been received. It could be more as of today. We have, according to the Chief Financial Officer, approximately $4 billion in liquidity. He said, don't be fooled by that. That doesn't last all that long. It sounds good. We also recently got notified of some ratings of our bonds. So Moody's has our bonds as AA3 outlook negative. Fitch has MTA bonds as AA minus outlook stable. Standard & Poor's has AA outlook negative, and Kroll has AA credit watch for downgrade. Considering all that is going on, that is technically not so bad. Chief Financial Officer Bob Ferran did announce at the meeting that they have just had a very successful bond sale, and they went to longer term bonds, which as Bob Ferran said, are better for the agency, and they seem to be selling really well. So from a bond standpoint, even though we're on downgrade and credit watch, apparently, as Bob said, many of the bonding companies believe the MTA is too big to fail. I put that in quotes. They believe there will be financial relief coming from the federal government. We hope that that is obviously the case. So the bond sales are going well. As far as the capital program, you may recall at the last meeting, I reported that everything was, with a few exceptions, Astoria Boulevard elevators, CBTC Queens Boulevard, work on the 42nd Street shuttle, and Long Island Railroad expansion in Jamaica. Everything else was on hold. That apparently is no longer the case. Those of us that get the GO notices, and Chris and a couple of us were just talking about those. They are now moving forward. The Culver Line CBTC installation, including a new interlocking at Kings Highway, is on again. There will be 9 weekends of no service south of Church Avenue. We need to know if there will be a shuttle bus as was originally envisioned. Kate, if you're on, do you have any knowledge on that?
So we put out a press release and launched a Culver Line specific website this morning, which I will drop into the chat feature. At this time, we are doing the work that we can with the resources we have while providing the essential service plan. So that is where we are on Culver, and I will share those 2 links.
So that sounds like a no on the shuttle bus, right?
It sounds like I don't have more than what has been publicly released on the shuttle bus. Yeah, I'm not being coy. I'm just sharing with you what I have. I can go back and ask.
Sure. Yep, that's great. Thank you, Kate.
Absolutely.
And we now know, of course, that other major capital projects are resuming as well, including the Rutgers Tunnel, which, when done, will allow for 8th Avenue CBTC installation, and various other projects. So very good that the capital program is once again moving. An important part of that is the installation of eastbound toll gates at the Verrazano Bridge so that 2-way tolling can begin, which should also bring the MTA some money into the coffers, money that was being lost by truckers and others going on a really roundabout route over the Manhattan Bridge and through the Holland Tunnel and miles out of their way to avoid the Verrazano toll. There has been announced and voted on something that we have called for and other advocacy and good government groups have called for, and not to mention contractors have called for, which is a change in the debarment regulations. You may recall we were very concerned that with automatic debarment, if a contractor was either 10% over the amount that they submitted to the MTA as a price of doing the job, or 10% over, meaning late, they were automatically debarred. This, of course, potentially cut down on people bidding, or in the worst case scenario, contractors inflating the cost because just in case they went over, they wanted to make sure they weren't debarred. Well, that process has now changed. There will not be automatic debarment. If there are extenuating circumstances, those will be looked at. If there is a question about whether a contractor should or should not be debarred because they are either overtime or anything, the issue will be brought to the Finance Committee of the MTA board for a decision, which would then go to the full board. So this is very different from an automatic debarment. There were 2 pending lawsuits that contractors had filed. They have been resolved. And so that was a very, very happy development to hear that debarment rules have changed, and rightfully so in most of our estimations. Let me see what else I have. Oh, yes. So needless to say.
Hi, this is Trudy. I just want you to know I finally got in, so I'm there.
Excellent.
Andrew.
Wonderful.
I've been listening. I just didn't want to interrupt while you were speaking, but I finally got in.
Okay.
Or at least my voice got in.
Your voice got in, yes. So
Thank you.
As I'm sure you have heard, some very exciting new cleaning technologies are being tested throughout the system, including ultraviolet C light, which is being tested in subway cars. These are not subway cars with people in them. These are cars that are running during the overnight and or are in yards to be tested. If that proves successful, they will be tested with passengers. Yes, there are still some trains running overnight between 1 and 5 to supply transit workers access to the various yards, places where they must resume service, and other potential needs for them. So the other important technology that's being tested is a new antimicrobial, although I did read something that made it sound like perhaps it wasn't the greatest thing next to sliced bread, and that it was possibly not doing what it was said to do, but this one antimicrobial is supposedly keeping viruses and germs off surfaces for up to 90 days at a time. This, if true, of course, the CDC just relaxed their pronouncement and said you can't catch this from surfaces, only from person-to-person contact. So this changes by the day. But nevertheless, if this can keep surfaces clean for up to 90 days, that's certainly good news and has lots of possibilities for when we really restart the system. On the subject of restarting the system, I know the MTA is looking at possible technology. I have heard the reservations might be required scenario. I'm not sure how that could possibly work. When the beauty of the system is you get on and you go along your way. But there is a technology that will allow the rider to know in advance how crowded a train or station is. I know that an app is being developed to let people know that is being tried in other cities. So not to belabor that, we will be following all of these developments on when we can begin to restore the system to what we remember it to be. We do know that our loss is London's gain. Everybody has, I'm sure, seen that Andy Byford will now be the head of the London transport system. From whence he came, he started as a station manager, went to Sydney, went to Toronto, came to New York, and is now back in London. Did a total circle there. So we certainly wish Londoners well. We know that he can do a great job. And in the limited time he was here, he certainly set us in the right direction, which we hope Interim President Feinberg will continue. Now, everybody, I am sure, knows that congestion pricing has not begun. was slated to begin in January of 2021, has awaited the federal government's decision on what type of environmental impact statement would be required for the MTA. So far, Secretary of Transportation Chow has not given the MTA an answer on this. Yesterday, the governor was in Washington discussing major infrastructure projects, including the Gateway Tunnels, the LaGuardia Air Train, 2nd Avenue Subway, and others. And I believe, hopefully, and Trudy is going to give us an update on this, spoke to the president about the delay in congestion pricing. So Trudy, perhaps you can fill us in if you know some more.
I think we may have lost Trudy, but I will tell you that the governor has his press conference happening right now, and he said he did not raise congestion pricing because he primarily spoke to the president about job creating.
Hello.
About job creation.
Hello. Somebody
There's
muted
Trudy.
me. Let me give you the report, okay?
Oh, you're back.
Because no, please don't mute me. I promise you, I will just say my thing, and then I will keep my mouth shut. But every time, if you mute me, it just took me forever to get back on. So just leave me on. You have my word. I will only speak when spoken to. Anyway, hello? Can you still hear me?
You. Yep.
Okay, fine. Okay. The governor had given a whole list of infrastructure. The main purpose was to go for the various infrastructure things, and Andrew, including something I know that some people don't like, and that's the train to LaGuardia.
Yes, LaGuardia Air Train. Yep.
Train through. The LaGuardia Air Train, as well as the tunnels, which he presented as a federal thing, because it's what Amtrak uses, and that was the argument that he used for that it wasn't really for us or for New York, it was for Amtrak, even though our trains use it also. And the 2 Hudson River tunnels that have to be either fixed or rebuilt or whatever. He did bring up that one of the things we needed was to go ahead with congestion pricing, and we needed an EIS, but Lisa tells me that it may be something which I've never heard of before, the EAS.
Right. So
and
we're
Lisa, you may want to explain the difference, as you explained it to me, between the two. But anyway, that was part of the conversation. He, since most people don't even, if he can talk about infrastructure, but it was part of the conversation. The governor has said that he will be meeting with the president again next week, and then he will have some information on what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. So, but we wait the action of the feds before we can go ahead with congestion pricing.
Exactly.
And also, it was brought up by the governor that this was another something that the feds could do, because as you all know, the big thing right now is in the package that was put to pass the House, and that the Senate has said is dead in the water, but maybe not, to money for the states and cities, but especially for the states. And this is one way that the states can get money without money coming directly from the feds, but it requires federal action. Lisa, I don't know if there's anything you want to add, but that's really where it stands right now.
So the governor in his conference just now was saying that he didn't focus on congestion pricing because he focused on things that are job creating. And there's a lot of concern in the Twitterverse and among reporters that that there's a misunderstanding, because congestion pricing is basically designed to build the system and to support the large part
support
of the
capital program, yeah. Right? Which
no,
is
but let me say something. He wasn't talking about the word that was used over and over again. And when the governor gave his press conference following the thing and the meetings and everything else, and he said it again today, is that he focused on something that's important to the president, because the president, when he ran for president, and since he has become the current occupant of the White House, that he keeps on talking about infrastructure. So that was the word that was used. That was the tact that was used in the whole meeting. Not even about job creating or anything, but infrastructure. Infrastructure, if you do work on these things, it's obviously going to create jobs.
Obviously.
But the key word was infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure.
Well, I'm glad he pushed Gateway, because that's arguably the most important infrastructure project in the country now, serving Amtrak, New Jersey Transit. It's just unreal. Those fail.
And as I said, the way he did it is that that was not just a New York project.
Exactly.
It benefited because Amtrak uses it. It's really for the feds. At least that was the tact that was used.
Yep, trains from Boston to Miami and New Orleans use it.
Yeah, exactly. The spirit of New Orleans. Okay,
Yep.
Anyway.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. That's
You're
good that all
welcome.
of that was talked about. That's very good.
Andrew,
Let me
there's a
see
few
if I-
people with questions, but
Oh,
let's
sure.
finish. Or do you want to finish with your report first?
That's pretty much it for things. I did mention that, let me just add that in the spirit of the governor opening up the Mid-Hudson Valley and Long Island, both Metro North and the Long Island Railroad are adding service in the case of Metro North, additional frequencies. Thus far, in the case of the Long Island, just additional cars on existing trains. No additional frequencies. President Eng has mentioned he is looking at that, and we'll see if the demand indicates they need to increase the level of service. But to help social distancing, they are adding cars to the existing consists. Oh, and there is a signal, a new signal improvement project going between Babylon and Patchogue, which should absolutely improve train service once that is done. Don't have the final timetable as to when that is done yet, but that will be a major improvement, as you know, electric and diesel trains tend to share territory there. On some days and some times of the day. What else? I'm sure the governor pushed the new Penn Station project while he was in.
Oh yes, yes. That again is considered anything that could go under the rubric infrastructure.
Yep,
was part of the conversation.
I'm sure East Side Access and Penn Access were part of that as well, and the 4 new Bronx stations, which we're all eagerly awaiting. So all of that is good stuff if we get it. Unfortunately, the delay in congestion pricing means that the 1.3 to 1.5 billion a year that was expected to bring in, which would allow MTA to fund, 12 to 15 billion a year, is not coming in. So that means the $50 billion capital plan is thus further delayed, which is not good news for anyone.
I have a question on that, and Lisa, maybe you can answer it. If we get, as I said, you might want to explain, everybody knows what an EIS is, but the EAS, from what you've told me, it takes less time. But
it's basically
how
EIS
soon after
light.
if we
EIS
okay.
light?
But how? Yeah. But if we get it, if the feds do the review, how much longer will it take? Because I was asked that question, I really didn't know. I mean, when can we start congestion pricing if it's approved? If the EIS, EAS, whatever, is approved?
A lot of things have to fall in place for us to begin congestion pricing. The Traffic Mobility Review Board has to be put together. The actual physical sensors have to be installed. River to river. I mean, it's not a quick thing.
And Jeno has indicated that he does not believe that it's going to start, and maybe I think Pat has also that it will be delayed. But that in terms of the revenue coming in to support the capital program, that was, proposed to be the fourth pot of funding anyway, which is fourth pot of money. So it would, there would still be the ability to roll the capital program forward, obviously at a reduced pace, because operating funds, capital funds can now be used for operating, unlocking the lockbox through the end of 2021.
Yes, and the irony in that is that moving forward on the new signaling would allow MTA to run more frequent trains, which would in turn allow for more social distancing. So it's kind of a catch-22.
Right.
I'll take questions. I'm pretty much done with my report.
All right, Christopher D. Grafe has a question first.
First of all, good afternoon, Andrew.
Hello.
Hi. The question I'm still going to be, you mentioned earlier about we talked about earlier about the F train. They did update some more information that it does give a chance for accessibility reroutes, because it doesn't affect the customers between Church Avenue and Coney Island still out, because those are the only two in that part of Brooklyn. Then it's J3 Metro Tech. Then you have to go into Manhattan. The only thing what I'm seeing is when I saw it from my balcony, I see the cranes replacing the switches at Kings Highway, because I could see it perfectly. The concern that I'm seeing now is it seems the Community Board 13 is getting a little paranoid, thinking that the F line is a railroad line, which I think everyone knows is not a railroad line. It's really looking at the community that represents between Wabash, Trump Village, and Coney Island, thinking that's a railroad in another decade. That's what I'm seeing, what's going on. But they do refix the typos now, because at Avenue P, it tells you have to walk to Kings Highway, to get the 82 bus, you have the choice of the N or the Q, or go to Avenue M, where you get the B9. But there's a problem. After 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., the B9 does not run. And since the since they're closing 1 a.m. to 5 a.m., the B9 does not run, and it does parallel near the N line or sometimes near other hospitals. So hope we can work on that in the near future, the next couple of days.
From what I saw on the notice, this is a weekend only project, is it not?
Yeah, I know. I did say weekends in the beginning. Maybe it got cut off, but I know this is a weekend.
You might have been cut off. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still looking into if there will be dedicated shuttle bus service, not just for 1 to 5, but all the times that the F is not running between Church Avenue and Coney Island.
Well, the last time the F was running with the shuttle bus, it was a very, very low ridership, because some of the shuttle buses did terminate at Kings Highway, because not a lot of them were going to Coney Island. But there has been an increasement on the B68 bus that's 3 blocks from me, that parallels with the F line all the way from Windsor Terrace to Stowell Avenue. And that has increased by at least another 35%.
That's the Coney Island Avenue bus, yes?
B68.
Yeah. Yeah, but East 16th Street to Coney Island Avenue is a walk. And if you need accessibility, that's a heck of a walk.
Yeah, but remember, Andrew, the next accessibility in that area is Kings Highway on the Q. After that, it's all in Coney Island. Or you have to go to Bay Parkway. That's the one thing that accessibility reroute is there for.
Right.
And you have options. You have options in Queens and Manhattan, because if I'm coming from Queens, I have the first option to get on the Q train.
Right.
Then it's the D or the N. If I need to get to 6th Avenue, I can then cross over for the D to Coney Island.
Yeah, I'm really referring basically to people who need to travel locally between Church Avenue and Coney Island.
But it's not that heavy on the F line. Sometimes the F line gets empty.
Yep. Sure. So other questions?
See, Trudy, I even mute myself, okay? Andrew Pollack had a question.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. So, Mr. Albert, I'm very glad you brought up the reservation system, and I know my record to Chairman Foy last week was, bottom line. I understand for the buses that, all right, I can go on my phone, look up a PDF, no problem, but subways is very complicated because before this pandemic, we were seeing an average of 6 million people that was tallied back in 2018, of course, riding the system every single day. And for my leisure needs, when, the stay at home gets lifted and when we're allowed to do what we did before this nightmare began, I am very concerned that this will not work on the subway system. And I did speak with this to my colleague who was on this call, Matt Camper, about this, and we're going to coordinate the Seford and Long Island, is that if, let's say, this reservation system goes into effect, I, for one, will be going on the Long Island Railroad and seeing how this reservation system works on commuter rail, because I have more optimism for it on buses and commuter rail lines, but the subways, I just don't think it's going to be feasible.
I agree with you, and I'm guessing that people who want to get on a specific train and are told there is no room or it is too crowded might opt to go anyway. And if the turnstile does not allow them in for some reason, well, we know how easy people jump the turnstile or go through the slam gates now. So I just can't imagine someone being told you can't ride this train.
And we discussed this back in February, how it's easy just to go over the turnstile and anybody can do it. So
right.
I'm not giving
I
a lot
just
of
don't see
optimism.
how that part can work. I have no problem with letting riders know for their own safety and comfort how crowded an upcoming train or trains are going to be. That's great. I'm also assuming that once there's a vaccine, this is not going to be a major issue at all. I've heard differing thoughts on that. Some are saying by the end of the year, some are saying January. If we get a vaccine by then, I'm hopeful this is all just a bad memory. But
yes,
I do not see reservations on the subway. I just don't know how that could possibly work.
And especially how I was normally on the subway once a week for leisure going into Manhattan. For me to make a reservation and say, oh, I'm going to take the E or the F train from Kew Gardens at, 11 o'clock in the morning like I normally do once a week, how is that feasible if I need to do errands in Kew Gardens before I even get on the train?
Yeah. Nope, that's one of the considerations. We have a couple of other hands raised.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to jump in for a sec. Yesterday I went on the Transport for London website because that's where Andy's going. And they're doing some interesting information sharing, which is a list of stations that are most crowded, the hours that they're most crowded, which entrances at those stations are most crowded, alternate entrances, and it's on their website. I know that, Andrew, that you talked about an app-based system,
Sure.
and that WSP is looking at best practices internationally. But that to me is something that I would think that they could do almost immediately.
Yep, and WSP's report to the MTA is coming in June.
Right. I know Cheryl has a question, so Cheryl, go for it.
Yeah, in order to actually ensure that there's safe social distancing as much as possible, the Transit Authority needs to increase the frequency of service. Beforehand, the thing is lines like Queens Boulevard and Lexington where you couldn't do that, but now the thing is, as you get more crews available, has there been any talk of increasing frequency back to pre-COVID levels, and especially during off-peak hours, even further, because the MTA I've heard that they might be working about trying to get employers to have staggered work hours.
Yes.
And there's increased demand off-peak. Has there been any discussion of trying to boost frequencies?
Frequencies were boosted when many of the workers who had been off sick came back. That actually relieved that problem that you saw that was so televised at 149th and 3rd Avenue and 149th Grand Concourse, where they were able to add additional 2 trains to relieve that, which made the news. That was even before the 1 to 5 shutdown. There is talk about a gradual return to service. I know that Interim President Feinberg is asking employers to see if they can have workers commute at different times in different shifts, maybe not as many days per week, but not every employer is able to do that. Not every worker is able to do that, obviously. So they must prepare for the return to a more frequent service. And I know that they are talking about that internally. There's no question in my mind that they are doing that.
Because they really need
especially if the mayor is going to announce second
Phase
week
1.
of June.
Yeah.
Some New York is sort of coming back. That will require additional service.
Yeah, like during the off-peak, and the thing is, they're also going to have to find out how to actually increase productivity for construction work, because if they keep doing work during off-peak hours, having trains run 10 miles per hour, or just severely limiting service, that's not going to cut it. They need to be more productive, and that's the only way to allow for the increased service levels. And I haven't heard anything.
What did you say exactly about trains running at 10 miles an hour?
Oh, that's in the construction work. They're slagging.
During the, yes. Yeah, that's a union rule. Okay, now I got it. Yep.
All right, thank you, Shoal. Matt Camper, and then Jason.
Okay, good afternoon, Andrew. First of all, a couple of things. First of all, that app-based thing in regards to what you mentioned about, how the stations look, and you can look in real time and everything. I think it's an excellent idea, especially with as we go out of this pandemic. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that works. It's something that really I think is an excellent idea.
That holds promise.
And
then you can decide on your own if the train is too crowded and you don't wish, and you'll wait for the next one.
Exactly. And the other thing in regards to the reservation system, I absolutely agree with what Andrew said before, Colin. I really do think this is not really a good idea. I'm a frequent Long Island Railroad rider, and the thing is, if you have a reservation system, it's going to, especially for people who live in Queens along the Queens Boulevard line, close to like Kew Gardens, Forest Hills, Woodside, and East New York, Notion Avenue, and Atlantic Terminal. People are just going to go onto the Long Island Railroad. It's going to make the Long Island Railroad trains more crowded. And it's just not going to be a good thing for any riders, especially for us Long Island riders. So I really don't think, based on that either, the reservation system is not really a good idea. And I think, honestly, if you go with that approach where, it has to be a capacity thing, I understand, if the train is too crowded, you wait for the next one on the subway. Most times in the rush hour, it'll be like 5-10 minutes at the most of additional travel time, which is not really a big, it wouldn't be a big issue for me, but some people I know would be. But honestly, I think it's better off, you have like maybe, let's say, 50% capacity or 75% capacity on each car instead of just a reservation system in general. So that's my point.
Yes, and I'm expecting, of course, there will be markers on the floors of the cars and probably above your head explaining where the 6 feet apart from the next seat is, and if you can at all remain vigilant about where you're standing if you don't have to stand right next to somebody. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of visuals. And from the sound of things, if people aren't wearing masks prior to vaccine, it sounds like that an official will be checking at various stops to see who's wearing and who's not wearing, and you might be asked to leave the train if you're not wearing.
Now that the governor has signed his executive order, perhaps, I don't know if that extends to transit as well, but that would be helpful.
Yes.
Stuart has a question.
Sure.
Stuart.
Hi. Sorry, it's out of sequence, but
It's okay, Colin user.
Oh,
I wanted
go
to say
on.
something about Chris's comment before. the F train this weekend, they had a sign up saying at the Neptune station that you had the option of walking to the corner to the 68 bus or walking 9 minutes to the queue line. So, you know, I don't think it's realistic to expect people to walk 9 minutes to another station. But that aside, my question was, did the governor say anything about testing for employees in the authority, whether it's antibody testing or COVID testing?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, this is Trudy. Yes, he did. They are on the first line, whatever it's called, the essential. That they are the first line of people being tested, along with fire, police, EMTs. But transit workers are on the list, and they are in the first round. It's called something else, but it's listed among the essentials that get the first test. Yeah.
Okay, we just want to make sure that they're actually getting that testing. And
yeah, and the union, and believe me, that the union is on top of it completely.
Yep.
Did they also talk about temperature taking of the employees reporting to work?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
They're doing that as well.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Stu, you good?
Yes.
Jason had something. We've actually been joined by a few other people. Okay, so 917-386-4551, that would be Matt, right? Raised his hand. Where are you, Matt? Hold on, let's see. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Stay steady. But anyway, I just wanted to comment and approve of the MTA's COVID-19 cleaning technology between 1 and 5 a.m. That's all.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to unmute somebody who's come on as Greg. Greg, who I cannot unmute.
Hi. Hi.
Greg, who are you? What's your last name?
Johnston.
Okay, great. I'm just taking attendance.
Oh, hello. Jason, why are you wearing a mask?
Because he's traveling.
Oh.
But Jason, it should be over your nose.
Yeah, you're not completing any. Okay, good job.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to ask who Bathrobe Dwayne is.
Hello. My name is Dwayne, and my last name is Finkelstein.
Thank you. Hold on. We've got a couple other folks I don't recognize. Bear with Karen. Karen Schumann.
Hello, how's it going?
Who is here as Karen Schumann?
Yes, I'm Karen Schumann.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. Anybody else I'm not recognizing? Okay, I think that I've gotten everybody in. Actually, our quite large gathering today. Does anybody else have a question?
Yes.
Is that Robert?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Sure.
Hi. I'm
Hey,
Robert
Robert.
Barrios. How you guys doing? My question is, during the 1 to 5 shutdown.
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
Okay. Hold on. Whoever that is, please mute. Okay, go ahead, Robert.
No problem. I represent District 51 in Brooklyn. My question is, between hours of 1 to 5 during the shutdown, a lot of people that work in our district either live in downtown Brooklyn or parts of Park Slope and Brooklyn Heights. Now, my thing is, I sent a notice to the MTA one time asking them why can't, between the hours of 1 and 5, they can return the OB51 bus for night service, because a lot of people would rather just take the 51 over the Manhattan Bridge into downtown Brooklyn, and then they have their options of getting home on different bus lines. But most people are saying they either have to go up all the way up towards Delancey to catch the 39 into Williamsburg, and another bus and another bus. Is it possible that the 51 can be restored during these hours between 1 and 5, so that people have a quicker option? Because even with the Uber service and all these extra services that MTA provides, people have to wait longer period of times.
That's a good question, and we can inquire about having B51 service between 1 and 5. Is there no Brooklyn Manhattan bus in the new express bus routes that have been installed on the overnight period? I have to check that, but
Andrew, this is
obviously you
Chris.
would know that.
Andrew, I have the information. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's the B39 is running.
Yeah, the 39 is running, but it's not helping people who live in downtown Brooklyn.
Right.
It's like a long commute from Williamsburg all the way to downtown
Yeah, that's
Brooklyn.
a Williamsburg Bridge bus, not a Manhattan or Brooklyn Bridge bus.
You know, it's much easier. And the other thing too, during this pandemic, I mean, we know the buses are running on a sort of a kind of a Sunday schedule, but I've spoken to a lot of operators out of the Grand Avenue Depot where even though they have Wildcats, you know, Wildcats are the extra drivers that drive around different routes, but they always have anywhere between 30 to 40 operators just sitting at the garage. And at the same time, they have a lot containing 45 buses.
Right,
Wow, what was that?
So somebody unmuted themselves. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, so if we have this many operators sitting around in depots and buses sitting idle, because my sister happens to work in one of these garages where she says buses just sit idle for 3 months and not being used, and they have extra drivers sitting around. Why isn't the MTA going to these depots and checking to see how many operators are physically sitting around doing nothing, where they can be throwing in routes that do need extra service?
Well, we don't know that they're not doing that. I'm sure that they have an idea of what you're suggesting and are checking out. I'm expecting a slight ramp up in service in the next 2 weeks. And if you're
2 or
on
3
our
weeks.
mailing list, we can certainly keep you apprised as to that progress. But with things slowly reopening and construction in particular beginning again, I cannot imagine that there won't be an uptick in early morning bus and even subway service.
That's something that we've raised continuously about, particularly about the 4 to 5 a.m.
Yeah.
overnight.
The 4 to 5 a.m. hour is one that has the majority of the 1 to 5 travelers during those hours, and that's when construction workers need to be out there, and certain other first responders and hospital workers and what have you. So I'm hopeful that we will soon see that within 2 weeks from my lips.
I hope so too. Well,
Yeah.
well, but in the meantime, I hope we can definitely push that temporary B51 service.
I will raise the issue about downtown Brooklyn to Lower Manhattan bus service with Craig.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
There's also another phone number that I don't recognize. I'm sorry. It's 516 543 3556.
That's me, Delisa.
7.
I'm sorry. Oh, hi, Deb.
That's me, Deb.
Hey, Deb.
Hi. Okay.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi, Deb.
Okay. Hi.
Matt, did you have another question, or did I just forget to lower your hand?
You forgot to lower my hand.
Okay. Thank you. Christopher has raised his hand or is clapping. Yes, Christopher.
No, I'm not. I got it. Yeah. No, I'm not clapping yet. But Andrew, there was a question you said earlier, and I may just may have forgotten, but
sure.
The question is still concerning right now. Okay, someone is really sounds really creepy on that. as I was saying before, there is a concern, Andrew, when you said something earlier regarding, regarding the plans of these 6 feet regulation, they're also forgetting about accessibility. Like, I know Edith's here, but when a person in a wheelchair is supposed to get on the train, how can you make 6 feet when some of the older cars, you can't? You barely can do sometimes on the newer trains.
Exactly.
You're lucky. The new trains, at least, if you're in the conductor, at least you got a spot for them to put in, because they got to be between the door or where the conductor or the 5th or 6th or the 1st or the last car. That's a main.
Of course, that's an issue. While there likely won't be 6 feet social distancing for regular riders, for wheelchair riders, I don't know how there could possibly be 6 feet from the next rider.
Not. I can tell you right now, a walker cannot even do it. A wheelchair can't
Exactly.
do it. You
exactly.
can't. What are you gonna make it like? When you gonna do these cartoon versions, make it stretch the stations out? That's impossible.
Well, Chris,
let's be more
about
optimistic,
2
guys.
days. Listen to this. 2 days before the 1 to 5 shutdown, I rode a train, and everybody was socially distancing, and everyone had a mask on. I rode a C train last Saturday. I was the only one in the car with a mask on. And there was plenty of social distance, but I am not. I am totally serious. I was the only one wearing a mask.
Holy shit!
So people have to get with the program.
Jason has a question.
Sure.
Where are you, Jason? All right, Jason, go for it.
I'm right here. I'm right here in Staten Island. I got update regarding the Staten Island buses. Since last report, things have been the same. I've been addressing it directly with Sarah Feinberg and Sarah Meyer, and we have been keeping conversations via Twitter. And Sarah Feinberg.
Jason, excuse me, but why do you sound like a girl?
Sorry. Okay, Joshua, hold on. Let people talk, please. Go ahead, Jason.
Since last report, I talked to Sarah Meyer and Sarah Feinberg regarding the overcrowding on the X40.
Yes.
And she said that she was going to talk to Brianna.
I'm sorry, Jason. You went out for a second.
Jason, you're lagging.
You spoke to President Feinberg, and she said what?
Yeah.
I think Jason got DDoS.
Jason, I think you're losing connection. You're breaking up.
Really breaking up.
Like really, like worse than my first breakup. It was terrible.
And Jason, breaking up is so hard to do. Now we heard you.
Now you're just number 6.
She told me
Jason, get off the dial-up internet.
Hold on. Come on. Politeness here. Go on, Jason. All right. Did we lose Jason? We may have lost.
Gosh.
Okay. I imagine that Jason will be back.
I would hope so too.
Okay. Do we have other questions?
Still here.
Wait, you're here? There you are.
You're back?
Jason is back. Go ahead.
Yeah. So things in Staten Island are not pretty. I have been seeing overcrowding on the X40 and on the X53. And actually, I saw a person on the X40 just now without a mask on. And the bus driver let that person in.
Well,
It sounds like you're eating chips.
I'm guessing that there's going to be instructions given to bus operators to not allow folks on without masks at some point. Don't know that we've reached that point.
Andrew, that in some
I'm sorry, Lisa, for interrupting.
You see signs that they put that says no mask, no service.
I agree.
Right. It may come to that.
And in the subway, I have seen everybody with a mask. And as soon as I get to Manhattan, I'm gonna take the 4 or 5 trains.
Well, let us know if you see everybody wearing, because the day I rode, I was in my car. I was the only one. It was unreal. But there were only 6 or 7 people in the car, yet I was the only one.
That's pretty shameful, Andrew.
It's not
Because
good.
everybody should wear a mask.
Yeah.
When I rode last Friday, everybody had a mask on except for the one homeless person. But everybody had
Oh,
enough
fuck
space
that
to be
homeless
distant.
person.
Excuse me.
Watch the language, please.
But everybody was socially distanced, and the trains were clean.
By the way, Andrew,
Lisa, do you carry extra masks?
I do.
Well, offer a homeless person a mask next time.
I didn't want to get that
Maybe
close
the
to
homeless
anybody.
person knows that coronavirus is fake.
by the way, folks, I'm seeing right now.
Jason, we
subway
can't
map.
Jason, we can't understand what you're saying.
Coronavirus is fake, man.
Joshua, I'm gonna remove you from the meeting.
I personally do not know anyone with coronavirus, so I do also believe that it's fake.
I know people who have died, so it is not fake, and that is.
Yeah, a lot of people
Same with me. My friend lost her uncle.
This is not.
Hitler
the
did
forum.
nothing wrong. Jews did 9/11.
This is not the forum.
No, this is really not the forum for this.
Can you kick him off now?
Yep.
Scott Nichols, you're driving.
So.
Oh, you're not.
Okay. I just removed a couple of people. I urge those of you who have not been removed to kindly keep on topic.
Yeah, please.
So that's my report.
Business.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
Okay. Andrew, did you have old business, new business?
I'm ready to do old business and new business. Yes.
Great.
I have a quick comment regarding old business, Mr. Albert. This is from February. You had mentioned that the R32s were being retired, and I can confirm I saw a video on YouTube from DJ Hammers that they were being retired. So that was great that you kept your word at least.
I haven't gotten notification that the last one has actually been retired, but
I've seen a memo for that.
Sorry?
I've seen a memo for that, which I could share with you.
That the last one is gone?
Yeah.
Well, that would be wonderful news. When we get our performance reports every month, I will see if R32s are listed. That will give me certainly an indication, but.
And R46s, I'm going to truly miss them because everybody knows about me. I love the leg room on the R46. So now
I love conversational seating.
Every time now I'm going to take the F train in the future, it's either going to be R160 or the R179 trains.
Exactly.
I love that noise on the R179 with the brake system, by the way.
No, I will really miss conversational seating. Thank goodness the 68 and 68As will be with us for quite a while.
Oh, thank God then. What lines are they on, by the way? Just curious.
The R68, and they were on Bs. They're on Ds, I believe.
Oh, okay. So I'll hopefully try to rail fan in the future and try to look for them before they get retired.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, any other old business? Hearing none, we can move to new business.
We have, wait, do we have a question here from Matt Shotkin? Go ahead, Matt. Matt? Okay, we do not have a question from Matt Shotkin. Okay, Andrew.
Okay, so Thanks for sending that, Shaul.
No problem.
Anybody have an item of new business they would like to bring up?
And this is Chris. I have new business
Go ahead, Chris.
between new and old, but just to let everyone know that they have sent out on the Accessibility Act, which I'll be sending out in the chat in the next few seconds. It's the new letter showing about the procedures, how a disability person can get on the bus, and accessibility still has to enter the bus. They even show the opening of the train elevator at Grand Central that open well. So I will share that this news.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Chris. You have an old subway map behind you, I see.
No, it's new.
It's a very old style, it looks like.
Oh no, that's just that's just the history stuff. I keep history.
Exactly, that's history.
Yeah.
Any other new business items? Just for everybody's sake, a week from today is the full PCAC meeting. We are endeavoring to get Mark Dowd, the Chief Innovation Officer, to speak to us about some of the new technologies that are being tried out in terms of cleaning, disinfecting, lighting, and a host of other things. And watch your email and we will let you know how that progresses.
So you don't know yet, Andrew, if that's going to be held virtually.
It will be, all meetings will be held virtually until further notice. I don't, the PCAC is located in 2 Broadway. We've not received any guidance as to a date that that our office will reopen. We could, or which phase we are part of. So I would anticipate that we will be holding virtual meetings until September.
Okay.
And that the board meeting will probably be doing, and the board will probably be doing the same.
Let me tell everybody something.
Yes, the board meeting is going to be virtual.
About 3 weeks ago or thereabouts, I noticed that on television stations, on the ticker below, when you were watching news, local news, they would give MTA updates, and those MTA updates were frequently incorrect. While we all know there's no B, W, Z, or 42nd Street shuttle service right now, these ticker notices were saying BDFM, no scheduled service, NQRW, no scheduled service, JZ, no scheduled service, when we all know that it was only one of those lines that wasn't running. So I reported this to the head of subways, and I believe the MTA is updating their feed, which goes to all of the stations, because I noticed that this has been down for at least 2 weeks now. They're not showing those because they were incorrect. So I'm very happy they're not showing incorrect service any longer.
Mr. Albert, just one quick question. What channel were you watching it on?
It was a CBS feed.
Oh, CBS Send New York. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. I agree.
Yes, totally unacceptable.
Excuse me, Andrew. I have a second question. You just put something up. Question, if it's okay.
Go ahead.
One, definitely was CBS, but I'm seeing this in other news stations as well. Not specifically saying be advised that he's not running the WZ and the 46th Street shuttle. I have not seen that in any of the news, and that's really ridiculous.
Actually, Chris, while I was in the subway on Saturday, they now have essential service maps posted everywhere, which shows just what's running. In other words, no 7 expresses, no 6 Diamond expresses, no W's, no B's, no Z's, no 42nd Street shuttle. The new, and these maps are great. And you can download them on your phone, and they're wonderful.
However, I'm going to speak up for Jason here and say that I bet they're not on the Staten Island Ferry because they're from 2009.
I don't know, but thing is, and I sent this email to you, Andrew, as well as Lisa, the list of, because I know being cleaning stations, but I'll be honest with you, not seeing them being clean because I do take the Q past the 7th Avenue, and I had to take the F to Coney Island as a reroute, and I have not seen them in the platform look like it's being cleaned or checking the edges. The B in the platform of all needs to be really rechecked. Possible.
I would be shocked if they weren't being cleaned, but I got your email and I will inquire as to those particular stations.
They said they cleaned it, but I'll be honest with you, I can see, I'm going to be nice, but I'll say this, there's things on the floor. They still need to be a little more cleaner. There were times that there was a week.
I will ask Chris.
I did
will
see,
inquire.
in my travels last weekend, I did see at Woodside that they had postings up about the last train at every station on the 7 line. I thought that was great. I don't know how long they've been up there.
You can actually get that on your phone too. If you go onto my MTA, they have under the coronavirus tab, it'll say, you know, the essential service, and bingo, it'll give you the line, and then it'll give you a strip map, and you click on the station you want, and it'll give the first and last trains.
That's great. Just remember, not everybody has a smartphone, and particularly a lot of people who work in the construction industry have construction, safe phones, which are very durable, but not necessarily have all of the information that you can get on a smartphone. And considering that that's one of the first industries that's going back to work and they're the early hours, I think it really helps to also have the paper.
No, it's posted, I believe. I specifically,
yeah,
it's posted.
Shovel has his hand raised.
I haven't seen this anywhere other than Geo Bolton, but the 42nd Street shuttle is out for the rest of the year, at least, in order to expedite construction work. And I think this is a great move by the Transit Authority, considering the low ridership, to try to shorten the timeline of the project further. What I don't understand is why the Transit Authority isn't making this public. Like, it's only on a bulletin, and I don't know why there's nothing public about this. They haven't updated the website or anything.
I thought I saw it on the website.
Last time I checked, they didn't update it to saying that the shuttle was down until the end of the year.
I will look at that as well. I think it's a good move as well, especially with the 7 train paralleling it, and yeah.
But it says no scheduled service on the service updates on the front page of the new.mta.info. Doesn't say that it's out, but forever though. It says while the MTA runs an essential service plan, there's no scheduled 42nd Street S service. Take the 7 train instead.
And maybe they don't put up what Shaul is asking because they're estimating that the quote essential service is going to last longer than it may actually last. Who knows? If it lasts through September, God help us. That's a good ways to the end of the year. So hopefully it will not. I have no problem with keeping the 42nd Street. That's a major project. It's terrible when it was open with everybody on one track trying to get onto those narrow platforms, short, narrow platforms. So this is work that is really badly needed. Plus, it's going to extend a good deal of the way to 6th Avenue. You'll be able to join it in various places. It's a major improvement. A giant island platform at Times Square.
Yeah, I was going to say Times Square. I've been on that platform, and I've always felt it was a safety hazard.
I mean, when tracks 1, 3, and 4 were all in service, like in the normal rush hours, I didn't find it a safety hazard. But when only one of those 3 tracks is in service, which is what it was prior to the COVID, that was a safety hazard.
I think it's terrific that some of this the construction work is being expedited with lower ridership. But you're right, communication is always important, because as Judy was saying earlier, the infrastructure projects are going to certainly help jumpstart recovery in the economy.
Yep.
Sharon has a question.
2 things.
Sure.
One is, Andrew, can you remind us what was the app you were talking about that tells you the beginning and ending?
It was My MTA.
My MTA, all right. And the other silly thing is that sometimes when you use the mta.info, there are two different versions or something.
Yep.
One of the versions for months has said there is no service at Wassaic, or it doesn't recognize Wassaic. And I just wondered if they could, someone could look at that online.
I know there is no weekend Wassaic service, but there is weekday.
No, but this has been for months that when you try, there are two different versions you can use. One is a trip planning and one is just checking the schedule. I don't know, but one persistently for months has denied any information about Wassaic. It doesn't recognize Wassaic. Even on weekends, I know about that. This is just a glitch within the website.
Okay, I just went on Metro North train time, and I did a Grand Central to Wassaic search starting around now. I see there's a 3:10 p.m. with one transfer.
There is a way you can do it, but you have to go from one to the other. And
No, I didn't have to do that at all.
I know you didn't, because you didn't get to the one that denies Wassaic. There is, I'll try to take better notes of it when it happens again. But it's
So
been happening.
I'm on the website
about it.
asking for service, and there's nothing during the day. I know, Randy, you had, I believe, or Andrew looked to see that there's an evening train, I believe, right? Let me change the time.
There's a
on
3:10 p.m. today, according to train time. A 3:10, a 5:10, a 7:10.
I know about that. But
Okay.
I even wrote Lisa about this a couple of months ago, I think. And it was why I asked her once why there was no service to Wassaic, because there's a particular way you can go on the website and it doesn't recognize Wassaic. The other way you go on the website, it does. I don't know what the difference is.
And which website is it, Sharon?
So I'm doing this right now. I can tell you. So I'm on the new.mta.info website using the trip planner, and
Right.
I did it from my 7 station to Wassaic Metro North at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it says no trip found.
There's some place, where it just denies Wassaic, and it's not all the, anyway, I just
Oh, I'll look
mentioning
into
it.
that. Train
Thank
time
you. This says
definitely
no
does
trip
work.
found.
Yeah.
That's
Because there's a
odd.
train every 2 hours to Southeast with a transfer to Wassaic
No, I
today.
know. Remember, Lisa?
As you know.
And Lee,
Right, Sharon, we had looked into that and
Yeah.
I thought we got back to you on it.
and you
But on
did.
the website, yeah, on the website right now, it says no trip found.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all. And,
Oh, you're
but
using the
you
trip
go on it
planner.
another
That's
way
why.
and it finds it. So I don't know why. Anyway, thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
So that's, if you go right on the new MTA .info website and you try it, you'll see 2.
Yep.
And that is odd.
Lisa, when you did that, you did it from your stop on the 7, right?
I did.
All right. Try it from Grand Central to Wassaic, just for the heck of it.
Okay. All right, let's see. No trip found.
Yeah, it's the trip planner, obviously, that's got a problem, not the train time or the, because if you went on, if you went on to Metro North and then it hit schedules, you'd get it too. So that's what it is. It's the trip planner. It's a real fault.
Thank you.
Yep,
All right.
I'll report it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Good catch.
I wanted to, if you don't mind, just give a brief update on some of the effort that, some of the work that PCAC is doing.
Sure.
No, happy to let this Ellen and Sheila and Bradley elaborate. So a lot of my time has been focused on helping to support the federal request, the request to the federal government for the additional $3.9 billion, but also looking at the capital program and looking with the other councils as well at some of the issues and concerns that could arise if that funding doesn't come through. And that's, certainly a big ask. And as Andrew said, we got the first 3.9 billion through the CARES Act, and now the HEROES Act is on the Senate, seems to be a non-starter in the Senate, but it's much needed funding for the MTA. Otherwise, additional operating funds are going to come out of capital. So we've been active in writing op-eds. I sent that out to TRC and posted it on Twitter. So I think it's on our Facebook page, testifying, of course, at the MTA board meeting, and also focused on issues regarding the 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. closure and what metrics and milestones will be used to reopen, even incrementally, the overnight closures. And Bradley, and actually everybody, but it's now in Bradley's hands, been hard work on the annual report, and we are seeing much progress, and hopefully in the next week we'll be able to share that with the chairs and then with the councils. So we're really excited about that. In addition, Bradley has been working on updating the Atlantic ticket / Freedom ticket report and working on next steps there. As Andrew had mentioned at the last meeting, we opted not to join and signing on a letter that a couple of elected officials sent to Pat Foy regarding expanding Atlantic ticket right now, because it just is a daunting time to consider doing anything that is really anything that's except running the service. But the anniversary of Atlantic ticket is in June, so I believe that we'll testify at the board on that. Bradley, do you want to add anything onto what I've talked about?
No, I think you pretty much covered most of it. Sorry, my voice isn't very good right now.
Yeah, well, Bradley.
Yeah, right now, the annual report, the first draft will actually be done by the end of the day, and that will be given out to people to review, and then we can pass that on to the council. And then for Atlantic ticket, yes, or for the and Freedom ticket expansion, I have prepared a testimony for the permanence of Atlantic ticket and how to make that better. And then, of course, when the timing is right, we will be releasing our Freedom ticket expansion report to expand the concept to other parts of the region once the MTA is looking to regain the ridership. And that's all I really need to add to that.
Yeah, that could be a very good tool to help ridership come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Ellen is taking on the incredibly challenging feat of pulling together all the aspects that have been in disparate places of our strategic plan and look forward. And we're really excited about that. Ellen, and she's also jumping on all these calls with me and working with the other advocacy organizations as well. But Ellen, do you want to snapshot?
Oh, there. I figured out how to unmute myself.
You did.
Yeah, I mean, I think just generally, I'm looking at a strategic plan that works with the staff and sort of inside how we operate the PCAC, and then also it will be talking to the councils, of course, and figuring out what goals and that type of things want to be achieved in the coming ahead after the fall or during the fall.
Right, but it's a long needed document, and it really will bring together a lot of the different pieces we've been doing, and had the opportunity to, sort of see over the last year and change. And now, have, it seems like no time, but have some time to actually focus on it in this important document. So thank you, Ellen. And Sheila has been working, did a lot of work on the annual report as well as Ellen had done, but is now working on several different projects, including looking at some best practices for restarting the MTA, looking at buses, infographic opportunities. She's got 2 reports or 2 sexual assault reports that she's done a tremendous amount of work on, also in conjunction with Ellen, that we're hoping, once, the opportunity may be to put that out and put some of the recommendations into place when, when new normal takes its new form.
Whatever that
Sheila,
is.
do you want to give any updates on any of that work? You're muted.
No, just doing research on best practices and awaiting data, plus data. Yeah.
So we've got we're full plate. Working now on op-eds for the Metro North region and Long Island Railroad region on the importance of funding and ensuring the capital program goes forward as initially constituted. So that I see that Matt Shotkin has his hand up again. Did you have a question, Matt? Okay. Christopher has his hand up.
What happened to Matt?
I don't know, but he's let's see. Matt, did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to commend Ellen on the job that she's doing. Quite remarkable.
I agree with you 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
And Christopher, you have you're either clapping or raising your hands. Chris. Okay.
All right.
And Jason has his hand up.
I want to give kudos to Alan, to you, Lisa. You guys are doing a great job doing advocacy. You're doing it at its best. And I forgot to mention that the MTA launched the Essential Connector app with all the latest updated maps.
Has that been working?
Yeah, the reservation has been working, and although that they only letting me do the reservations between 1 and 4:45.
Makes sense.
Huh. Well, I guess not if you need to be someplace at 5.
Well, yesterday I did the reservation late, so I had to take 3 buses to work. And it took me 1 hour and 46 minutes.
Wow. Weren't you entitled to a car service then if you had that many changes to make?
Yes, Andrew, but here's the thing though. I have to do the reservation before 4:45.
In the afternoon.
In order to get the car service on time. Because if not, I will have to wait until 5:07 to catch the R train.
I see.
And then I will get to work late, and then that's bad for me.
Got it.
So,
well, are there any other questions or new business?
Edith, did you have anything you wanted to add? Where's Edith? I'm trying to unmute Edith. Edith?
Okay, I am. I mentioned in a previous call the problem with the positioning of the poles in the subway cars and how it's problematic to reach the pole, much less maintain distance. Is anyone in car design keeping track of this? Because this will become a major issue, and would certainly hope that they consider this for the next crisis.
Are we talking all existing cars now, Edith, or just certain ones?
It seems as though it's all the new cars, and new is a relative concept. But there are fewer and fewer cars that have the pole where you can actually are near the door.
Can you tell us what line? What line are you talking about?
It's in the ones with the which has the space at the end now.
Well, just tell me what train you're riding.
Is that the E?
I think it's the E. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, those are 160s. Okay.
Okay. So and you have more. You can't physically get to the pole with the wheelchair.
Because it's
Yeah,
just it's a space, right? But there's nothing to hold on to.
Yeah, there's an open space, nothing to hold on to, and so we're all like bumper cars, depending upon how quickly it's been noticeable as they're speeding up the trains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the new trains were on display at Hudson Yards for everybody to examine them, there were some comments about some of the arms were too high, people couldn't reach them. I'm wondering if this came up during when everybody sort of inspected the new cars with an eye to changing their design.
You know, it's actually, I will have to say, at that time, we were so excited about being able to be at the end of the car.
Right.
And we were so excited that the seats folded up and we had a space there. But I don't think anyone was particularly noticing this as a potential problem.
Okay, so if it's the 160s, we have a lot of those cars, and I cannot imagine them changing them. But there are 3 or 4 new car classes on order, and I want to make sure we get this right.
That's what I want. That's all I'm asking for is let's keep this in mind.
With Sharon Hogan, New York, you need a payment.
Okay, so it's the distance from the door to where the place that a wheelchair is supposed to be. Is that the issue?
No. The issue is that to be able to. Okay, you've got people standing, bicycles, and everything where the wheelchair should pretty much be. So the wheelchair, if they have to hold on to a vertical pole, has to go further into the car between the row of seats.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm at that pole and I need to get off now, I can't get off because I have to back out. And if the car is crowded, I'm going to back out and run over you.
Yes. Okay. I will talk to the car people and see when they may have a prototype for us to examine.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm wondering if it would be
because we have 179s, we have 188s here already, but we're going to have 211s and 262s. We got to make sure we get this right.
I mean, is it possible to retrofit them with a hand grab?
Hand grabs don't work because we're so short in general.
I'm thinking about a short hand grab, or something that is tall too short.
HOGE.
But that attaches to the side of the train car instead of having to put it between the floor and the ceiling.
Lisa, when this COVID business is over and we can visit a particular station together, or a yard, we can have the car people come and Edith can show us exactly where and what she's talking about, and then we can see if a retrofit is possible. But certainly a future design, we should have that opportunity.
Yeah.
There are quite a number of short people also. who have the same problem,
Yep.
that there's just nothing at that height for us to hold on to.
That did come up at the Hudson Yards display of one of the new cars.
We
So
did bring it
they
up.
did lower that handrail. But
Hi,
obviously,
this is Trudy. We could always revive my organization that I started when they had no.
You mean SPIT?
When the new SPIT, yes, it's called
Yes.
Short People in Transit, and I would be happy to revive it again if something isn't done, Edith.
Okay.
catchy,
Thank you.
very catchy.
Okay.
That's me, catchy.
Oh,
Okay.
Excuse
I
me,
wanted-
Andrew and Lisa. Chris, I just want to add, the day that Edith and I went, I was there with her, and I did bring someone with me who is that short, my cousin. She had that issue. And Edith can vouch with me because we had that issue. A person who likes to hold onto a pole, it's not, not on all the newer, some of the newer trains don't have them. Our 88s, it depends where the pole is. Sometimes she's got a prayer that if she's in the middle of the train, there sometimes you can catch one of them, but she has to hold on because now the 7 train goes faster, and lately now the R160s are going even faster with the signals up to date. So there is some still a little bit of issues, because last time we brought this up to about the R211 prototype at Hudson Yard, I forgot who that gentleman was, because you had him here at the TRC meeting before Lisa came in, was when Bill was there. Maybe we need to bring them back and follow up what they've been doing with the R211s. And I agree with Trudy that I think that that name is really catchy. They made a promise they're supposed to follow, and we're supposed to follow these guidelines. So I think we need to.
No, Chris, I wasn't really saying it as a joke. I had brought this up years ago when I was still working at the MPA. And no, seriously, it is something that I have brought up. And when we went to the yards to see the new cars, I pointed that out also. And the suggestion is really to go back to what we had a long time ago, for those of you who are my age. And that's how the strap hangers, that's how the term came about for people who ride the subways, because there were actually straps that were suspended, and they were low down, and that you held on to them as these straps. So there are things that can be done. It doesn't have to be a bar going right across the top or anything like that. And I hope that I had talked to, this is going back, everything that went on before 3 months ago. I can't remember when it was, but it's something that we should bring up again.
I will definitely make sure that we are on their radar and see when we will get a chance to give our opinion on the new cars that are coming.
Just one quick question for Edith. What station on the E train she was talking about? Just curious.
5524 8606 71.
Edith?
Edith?
Yes.
What station? Yeah. What station were you talking about?
No. It has nothing to do with what the station is. It's that it's the car.
Oh, the R160s. Yeah, because all of the E trains are equipped with the R160s. Correct.
Right. So the problem is that when to get to the pole, I'm between the rows of seats.
Yes.
That's the issue. They've moved the pole further into the center of the car, the length of the car.
Oh, that's unacceptable. That's all I'm going to say regarding that.
Well, take someone in a wheelchair to find the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Edith.
Anybody else have a question or update? Look at that. So, Kate, did you have anything that you wanted to add, Kate? I'm attempting to unmute you.
No, I don't, but thank you for asking.
Okay. Okay. Let's try Stuart again. Stuart, Where'd you go? There you are. Stuart, anything?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, Marisol?
Excuse me, does anyone know why the top of my phone says safe driving mode?
Maybe you're going fast.
I'm in an office chair.
Oh, are you zipping around?
No,
You must have hit some button somewhere on it.
I'm sure. I'm just asking, does anyone know where it's a button? Thank you.
I think it's on iOS. I'm not too sure.
It's an Android.
It's actually a thing on Zoom. If you swipe right, you'll be able to see everybody that way. It should go out of that.
Ah, yes. Yes, thank you very much.
No problem.
Marisol, anything that you wanted to?
No, we're good. Thanks.
Okay. We've not heard from Andrew Kurzweil today. Unusual. Andrew, anything that you'd like to add?
No. Basically, I'm basically here to monitor and see if there is anything. I'd be more than happy to say something. But at the moment, with everything going on, you just got to keep knowing what find out what's going on.
Right.
Well, you look like you're in pain, Andrew.
And anybody else? I think we've gotten pretty much everybody.
We've done it for today, I believe.
Lisa, make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yes, great. Stay safe, everybody, and hope to see you at PCAC in a week.
Yeah, we'll send out that agenda as soon as we get confirmation on our speaker.
Okay.
All right. Hope to see you all next Thursday.
Great.
Depends if my dentist appointment's happening.
Be safe, stay quarantined.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Stay healthy.
Bye, Allie. Bye, Sheila. Bye,
Bye.
Lisa. Bye, Andrew.
Bye, Chris. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.